Hello my loves, hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. We are back with another video. Another week has rolled around, so we are here to talk about something new. I had this conversation with someone because all of my video ideas come from me talking to other people. I had this conversation with someone about insecurities, and I kind of had an unpopular opinion about it because I feel like insecurities can make us do a lot of things that we normally wouldn't do. It is definitely a driving force as we make decisions, as we think about ourselves, and just how we feel about ourselves in general. So if you haven't seen my TikTok, I'll put it up here, but you should. And I had actually said I have an unpopular opinion about insecurities. I do feel like sometimes insecurities actually can be beneficial for us. It makes us work harder. It makes us look at certain flaws that normally we would not look at. And hopefully we strive to change them. But most people don't get to that part. Most people don't get to the part where they're trying to change the insecurity. It's such a sore spot for them that it stays there and people stay like stuck in that spot. So that's why I have created this video. We're going to talk about how to overcome insecurities. So the first things first, before we get into my 4 A's on how to overcome the insecurities, I want to pose 3 questions for you that I want you to think about as you answer all these questions. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first question I really want you to think about when you are thinking about your insecurity is what really has influenced this insecurity? Because sometimes we don't recognize that it's an insecurity until someone else says something about it. Before then, you were completely fine. And I think it's really hard for us to combat that because now we do have social media versus like before social media was really a thing and people were looking so hard and people had all these opinions. So first things first, I really need you to sit down and question for your insecurity. Is it something that you literally just didn't like about yourself without the opinions of other people? Because if it's the opinions of other people, do you really want your life ran around what other people think about you? No. I hope you said no, because I wouldn't want my life and how my life looks to be dependent upon how other people think about me. Because in the meantime, I'm losing like what I think and how I care about myself. So hopefully your answer was no, but just think about it. Is it a you thing where you honestly don't like this thing about yourself, or you don't like this because other people don't like it? So that's question number 1. All right, guys. So the second question is, how often is this insecurity noticed by other people? Again, this is an insecurity. So with insecurities, that just basically means that it's in our head. We think about it so much versus other people, they probably honestly don't even notice. Like, let's say you drop a stain on your pants and you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, like everyone's gonna notice the stain. And no one says anything to you throughout the whole freaking day. And then when you say something about it, that's when they look down and they're like, oh yeah, I do notice that. So I just want to put into perspective, and I want you to put into perspective that maybe your insecurity isn't as big as you think it is because other people are actually not paying attention. They're not looking at it the way you're looking at it. So maybe this insecurity really isn't that big of a deal, and hopefully it could downsize like your negative thought about it. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. We're going to move on to the last question. All right, guys. And then the last question. I want you to think about, can this insecurity bring you anything other than shame? What strength could it bring to you? Because honestly, when we think about some of the things that people are often insecure about, there's other people in the world who have this insecurity or who have the same quality, but they make it work. Like how? And how can you make it work for you? Because at this point, this insecurity most likely is working against you, which is why you clicked on this video. So think about how this insecurity can actually do some good for you. What can you benefit from it? Whether that be because you push to change whatever it is, or you can actually accessorize what this insecurity is. And we are going to talk about that because I am going to give you the 4 A's. The 4 A's to overcome your insecurities. That don't mean it's not going to be work. I'm not about to sit here and say that. But it's a way to overcome it. So, yeah. So, let's get into the 4 A's. All right, guys. So, the first A I want to go over is acknowledgement. This goes back really to the questions that I had asked really in the beginning. But acknowledge what the insecurity is and why it's there. Dig down deep to figure out, where did this come from? How long has it been there? And why is it there? You know, so the first one I really want you to think about is the acknowledgement. Is this really an insecurity, or is this just something that, you know, other people have put in your head that's an insecurity? That sort of thing. So the first A is acknowledgement. The second A is acceptance. You need to accept whatever this is. And I'm strictly talking about, for sure, the things that you can't change about yourself, like your height. If you are short, and I don't know, I think they have like surgeries where you can extend your knees and stuff like that, but who's really doing that for the most part? Us, you know, like normal people, like, look, it's not changing. So second A, you have to accept it. So that doesn't mean you have to love it. That just means you have to accept it. Understand that, hey, this is what it is. I can't change it. Is what it is. So that, I know it sounds like, how am I overcoming it if you're just telling me to accept it? But it gets better. So number 2 is to accept it. The third A I want to put out there, this one is where you accessorize it. So when I mean like accessorize it, there are people that are short that their shortness makes them. Does that make sense? Or the shortness adds to them. They make their shortness look good. Kevin Hart is short, or at least, yeah, like he's short. But he jokes upon his shortness. He makes it part of him that, hey, if he wasn't short, maybe he wouldn't be the comedian that he was to a certain extent. Or like that guy from Game of Thrones, Therion, something like that. I ain't watched Game of Thrones. I'm not gonna sit and lie to you. But when you look at him, he was the short guy, and that was like his thing. He was iconic for being the short guy. He made the insecurity, possibly if he was insecure about it, he made the insecurity work for him. He accessorized the insecurity. Find a way to accessorize your insecurity if it's something that you can't change. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. So you see, when I said accept, there was a reason why I said accept your insecurity, because then you are going to accessorize it, tailor it to something that's popping. There are plenty of people, like, look at Lizzo. She's a bigger woman. And Lizzo be with doing her stuff, but at the same time, she makes it work for her sometimes. She accessorizes her body versus like Coily Ray. Is that her name? Coily Lee. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I don't really follow her, but she's skinny and she calls herself like a trendsetter, and she makes it work for her. She accessorizes her skinny body, and then Lizzo accessorizes her bigger body. You find a way to accessorize. That's the point. Y'all see, I don't know nobody's names. So just find a way to accessorize. And then the fourth and final A is adornment. When you get to the point where you're accessorizing and trying out new things to love you with the you that you have, you start to form this love for yourself that at some point it's not about, I don't want to say fake it till you make it, but it's not about faking anymore. You actually like this part of you, typically, because you found a way to make it work for you. So the fourth one is adornment. You're starting to actually like this piece of yourself that once upon a time you probably didn't like. And then when the adornment comes, it comes to the point where if somebody else has something to say about this once upon a time insecurity, oh baby, you can't tell me nothing. I don't care, because I like myself. I like who I am. So it's cool that you got something to say about it, but I make it work for me. I'm popping. So those are the 4, this is 8. Those are the 4 A's that you need in order to overcome your insecurities: acknowledgement, acceptance, accessorize, and adornment. So guys, let me know in the comments below if any of those tips or anything like that work for you, if you agree or disagree. Make sure that you check out some other videos on my channel because we have a lot to talk about, a lot that has already been covered, and I will see you next week. So until next time, bye.